Good morning, Placentia. I'm Mayor Ward Smith, and I'd like to welcome you all to this year's Veterans Day Observance program. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, this year is a little different and is virtual. But I promise you, we still have a great event planned to honor our veterans. On behalf of the City Council and the Veterans Advisory Committee, I want to thank all of you for tuning in to our Veterans Day observance, and I hope you enjoyed today's program. I would like to introduce Fire Chaplain Fernando Villicana, who will give today's invocation, followed by Fred Visconti, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Then, Tuffrey Middle School Choir will be performing our national anthem.
Hello and God bless you. Pastor Fernando Villicana here, Chaplain for Placentia Fire and Life Safety. I just want to say this is Veterans Day, and our heart goes out to all of our veterans. We just want to thank you. And I'm here to lead you in a prayer of blessing. Let's bow our heads as we pray. Father, I pray a special blessing over our veterans, both past and present. We place so much value on what they've done for us in service. And God, we pray that the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will be with every veteran. And on behalf of the city of Placentia and myself as a chaplain, we say thank you to all our veterans. God, we pray that you would hover over every one of our veterans today. And God, that they would have a blessed assurance that you approve of their service. The Bible says, greater love hath no man than this, than he lay down his life for his friend. So again, I just want to say, happy Veterans Day. This is a day where we recognize your service, your sacrifice, and we appreciate it. And we place so much value on what you've done for our country, for our city, and for our homes. God bless you.
My name is Fred. And I would like to say this, pledge allegiance to this flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chaplain Villicana, for that invocation, and to Tuffrey Middle School for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem. At this time, I would like to introduce Mayor Pro Tem Jeremy Yamaguchi, who will announce the new names that have been added to the monument wall.
Hi, Placentia. I'm Mayor Pro Tem Jeremy Yamaguchi, and I have the distinct honor of announcing the 5 new names that will be added to our Veterans Monument this year. First up, we have Nicholas R. Brattain, Private First Class, United States Marine Corps. Nicholas has been a resident here in Placentia since 2003, where he attended Brookhaven Elementary, Tuffrey Middle School, and graduated from El Dorado High School in 2019. He began his service with the United States Marine Corps in October of 2019 and is currently stationed at Camp Pendleton, assigned to the 7th Engineer Support Battalion as motor transportation. Next, we have Brent Clark, Staff Sergeant, United States Air Force Reserve. Brent, a 46-year resident, served as an emergency room technician stationed at Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, beginning in October of 1969. He became a Placentia resident in December of 1974 and was honorably discharged in October of 1975. He and his wife raised 3 boys here in Placentia, all of whom attended El Dorado High School. Currently, 2 of his grandchildren attend Placentia schools. Next up is Paul D. Henderson, Sergeant E5, United States Army. Paul is a 43-year Placentia resident and served from February 1970 to September of 1971. He was stationed in Binh Ho, Vietnam for 14 months, working first as a wheeled vehicle mechanic and then a Huey helicopter mechanic, completing his tour as a supervisor to 4 mechanics. Paul received 5 medals during his service: National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, Vietnam Campaign Medal with 2 stars, Army Commendation Medal, and a Bronze Star. Paul moved to Placentia in April of 1977. Now I'll introduce Robert Marderosian, Corporal, United States Army. Robert is a 69-year Placentia resident and served from November 1950 to October 1953. In Nevada, he participated in Operation Desert Rock as assistant to General Stork, and then was stationed in Munich, Germany, as secretary to the general. During his tours, he received a 6th Army Award certificate and 2 medals, the National Defense Service Medal and the Army of Occupation Medal. He and his wife moved to Placentia in April 1969, where they raised their family. Both children are El Dorado High School graduates. Robert passed away in March of 2018 at the age of 92. The request to be added to the Veterans Monument was received from his son, Mike. Finally, we have Emery A. Padar, Private First Class United States Marine Corps. Emery has been a resident here in Placentia since 2007, where he attended Golden Elementary, Tuffrey Middle School, earned an Eagle Scout Award in 2018, and graduated from Esperanza High School in 2019. He began his service with the United States Marine Corps in January 2020 and is currently stationed at Beaufort, South Carolina, assigned to VMFA 501 F-35 Training Squadron, working as a power plant mechanic. He is carrying on the family tradition of proudly serving our country in the United States Marine Corps. I'm very proud to call Placentia home, where we have a strong sense of honor and pride for those who have served in our armed forces. I'd like to thank Susie Bush and her entire team who have volunteered to make masks to donate to our Veterans Village. All the fabric was donated by Patrice Porter, whose father was a retired Marine. And we'd just like to thank everyone for their support today and dedication in honoring those who have served our country.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Next up, we have Meredith Castillo, who served in the United States Marine Corps during Vietnam and has his name on the monument wall. Meredith will speak about what being on the wall means to him.
My name is Meredith Castillo. I live in the city of Placentia, and my branch of service was in the Marine Corps. I spent 13 months in Vietnam as a combat Marine. I was a corporal. It was a very, very concerning and different type of a tour, and it's considered a privilege to be in the Marine Corps and to live in the city of Placentia. The reason I'm added to the monument was that several people had talked to me about having my name on there. At that time, it was you had to either be born or graduate from the high school, but in recent years, it has been changed to living in the city for 30 years and having an honorable discharge. When that came about, I was one of the first ones to want to and had my name put on the monument. It means that people like myself and the people that are behind me on the monument serve their country. And I truly believe it's people like the people behind me that make the country of the United States so fantastic and free for everyone, not just one person, but everyone is entitled to that freedom. And the military is a very positive place to show that freedom is for everyone.
Thank you, Meredith, for taking the time to be interviewed and share the significance of the Veterans Monument Wall with us. We are thrilled to be able to meet and highlight people like Mr. Castillo. I would now like to introduce Councilmember Rhonda Shader, who will be discussing our Military Banner Recognition Program. Councilmember Shader was also able to sit down with the family of Carla Ariano, whose name appears on one of our military banners.
Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the military banner that's up in the city that is so important to you.
So my name is Martina. This is my daughter Natalie, and this is my mom Rosa. The banner that's up is my sister's. Carla Ariano. We're so thankful that Placentia allows us to have this up there for us.
What branch of the service is Carla in?
So Carla's in the Navy. So she's been there since 2016, August.
Okay, so did she sign up while in high school?
Yes.
And what high school did she go to?
She graduated from Valencia High School.
So a Valencia graduate,
Yes.
went straight from graduation
Yes.
into the Navy.
Yes.
She's been there, so she's almost been in 4 years.
Yeah, she enjoys it. She enjoys traveling and serving her country.
I love to hear that.
Yes.
And tell me about when the banner went up, because that's one of the reasons why you're here is
Yes.
because that was special to you. So talk to me about that.
So my sister went on, it was her third deployment. It left Norfolk, Virginia, and it was supposed to be a round the world tour. Unfortunately, her deployment just kept getting extended and extended. So we were really hoping to have her here for the holidays of 2019, and her and her other crewmates, they couldn't make it home to their families.
Yeah.
So when the banner went up finally, just seeing the banner there made us feel closer to Carla, as if she was there with us.
Right.
And especially for it being so hard that she wasn't going to come home for
Yes.
the holidays. We made it a point that even though we live off of Bradford, to always drive around and go down Kramer and just look up
Yes.
at our banner and
Yes.
how awesome it is to
And
see
military
it.
service can be like that. I mean, you
Yes.
just don't know. I mean, you
Yes.
sign up thinking one thing, but it's where the country needs you. So
yes.
it's so amazing that Carla's willing to do that. And
great seeing them
so,
up
so
there.
the military banners are only for our active military, so people that are in. And so that gives us all a great look at how many people in our city. I'm sure there's
Yes.
many more.
Yes.
So Carla may re-enlist. If for some reason she doesn't, or when the day comes that she won't, what do you think the family will do with the military banner that you purchased?
Well, we'd probably put it like in a shadow box and hang it on our wall or keep it safe.
Yeah.
Just how we keep all her pictures up
Yeah.
to see.
Well, thank you so much for being willing
Yes,
to share. And
yeah.
Veterans Day means a lot to this city and to this
Yes.
country. And so today we just celebrate Carla and
Yes.
you and the sacrifice of all our military people. Thank you
Yes.
for joining me today.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Shader, for that information on the Military Banner Recognition Program and for taking the time to sit down with Carla's family to learn about her service. Now we have Councilmember Craig Green, who is at the Placentia Veterans Village, to interview Mr. James Smart.
Good morning out there. This is Craig Green, one of your council members from beautiful Placentia. And of course, I'm always pleased to celebrate veterans, having been a Vietnam veteran myself. And I just want to say we're here at the Veterans Village here in the city, which has been one of my pet projects since we even thought about doing this thing. So it's really been good. And I'm blessed today to be interviewing one of our residents here, Jim Smart, also a Navy veteran, which I was, which is great. So we've been having some stories we can't put on air, but we've been telling some stories here. So I'd like to introduce you to Jim Smart, and if you'd like to say a few words about how do you like being here and how do you like Veterans Village?
I don't like Veterans Village. I love Veterans Village. This is my home. It's my sanctuary. It's given me the strength to go on living, literally. I mean, I've never been happier in my entire life than when I was allowed to move in here.
Well, Jim, tell me about your service in the Navy, since I was a Navy guy as well, and you were too. So what was your service like, and when did you serve, and where?
I joined in 1972, essentially right out of high school, and I went to boot camp in Chicago, Great Lake, Chicago, which was a tactical error on my part because they didn't tell me that Chicago got really cold in the winter. But after that, I went to a fleet prep in Memphis. I was in Attack Squadron 72.
All right.
We were stationed in near Jacksonville, Florida. We were assigned to the John F. Kennedy, the aircraft carrier. And we went out to do a 6-month med cruise, but in October of '73, a war broke out between Israel and Jordan and Egypt. And so we spent another 4 months just doing flight ops off the coast of Israel during that time. And then the rest of my service was lucky enough to be stationed in Jacksonville, Florida.
What do you see as, just generally speaking, your path to arrive here at the Veterans Village?
You know, I was my mom's caregiver for the previous 15 years, and then she passed away last September. And then I was really at my wit's end. There was no other options for me other than living in a car. I was able to secure a place out in Corona. You know, it's essentially a shed. So when my sister told me that they were going to be building this thing, and she lives just down the street, I would come by here every Saturday to watch the progress. And I've watched this building grow, this facility turn into this beautiful, landscaped, gorgeous place with outstanding facilities. And I don't know if I deserve it, but I'm not giving it back.
As a veteran, you earned it.
Oh, that's awful nice.
No, and I think you'll find that most people in our city feel that way.
It's just amazing. As you look around, it's a brand new facility, and all the guys that I've met so far are way motivated. They love being here as well. And like I've told people, this is my home. This is my forever home.
And welcome home.
Thank you.
To here, because we never heard that when we came back from Vietnam.
You know, we did not. Welcome home. That's the first time I've heard those words here to me.
Yep.
I've said it to myself, but it's really cool. I get a chill just hearing it from somebody
Absolutely.
else.
It's
Thank
nice.
you, Greg.
So, and again, thanks for your service, and thanks for being one of our residents here, and we're looking forward to making sure everything runs as well as it can possibly be.
Wow, what a touching video that was. On behalf of myself and the entire City Council, we are so proud of the success of our new Veterans Village. This is a true testament to the hard work and collaborative spirit that went into establishing this facility. Now we have a brief message from Orange County District Attorney Todd Spitzer.
I'm Todd Spitzer, the District Attorney of Orange County. The word veteran is synonymous with the word sacrifice. Every man and woman who answered the call to serve in our armed forces sacrificed their own needs for the needs of our great nation. They agreed that if needed, they would lay down their lives so that Americans they had never met, and Americans who had even been born yet, could enjoy the freedoms which we all hold so dear. They fight and they serve because America is a cause worth fighting for. Freedom and justice and the American dream are worth fighting for. And as your district attorney, I am committed to supporting our veterans, whether they are fighting wars abroad or the wars they find themselves fighting within themselves when they return home. Veterans fought for us. And as Americans, we have a duty to fight for them.
Thank you, Todd. I would now like to introduce Ron Culler, whom is the chairman of the Veterans Advisory Committee. Ron will be telling us a little bit about what the committee does. Following Ron, we will have a montage of past Veterans Day events.
Hello, City of Placentia. It's a beautiful day here, as usual, and I'm sure you know that. I'm Ron Culler, formerly Lieutenant Colonel Ron Culler of the Air Force, and I'm the chairman of the Veterans Committee. Now, we're advisors to the City Council, and we have a good time doing that, and we're looking out for veterans, because one of the big problems we have is we don't know how many veterans we have here in Placentia. And so come on down, fill out an application. One of the things we like to do, which happens every year on November 11th, is we meet right here in front of your city hall, the police department, the library's over here. Now, just take a look behind me. This is a monument that talks about former Placentia people, those who went to war, those who just served and are still veterans, and their names appear here, and we talk about them seriously every year to make sure that we get all those people who want to get their name put on the monument to do that. If you've got a loved one who was brought up in Placentia, come over and get the application form and see if they should be here. And we'll try and remember them every Veterans Day. My portion is closing out. We're all looking forward to next year being together again. This virtual thing is kind of fun, but It's not like being together. But Lord willing and the creek don't rise, come on down, looking for you next year. Hopefully we'll all be together. And that's all I got to talk about.
We are of different faiths and colors, but today we stand together as one red, white, and blue community to thank our veterans and active personnel for their service to our country. On this solemn Veterans Day weekend, we stand proud, we stand strong, we stand resolute that we shall not allow fear to conquer us, nor let evil to triumph over goodness. Together we will build a better world. Together we will light the darkness.
From the valiant soldiers who starved and shivered through the frigid conditions at Valley Forge, to the intrepid squadrons crouched in the muddy trenches of France, to the dauntless infantry who traversed through the callous jungles of Vietnam, and the stout young men and women patrolling the barren deserts of Iraq. American veterans have been serving since day one.
Freedom is something that often, as an American, I don't really have to think about. Like many of you guys, we're lucky enough to intrinsically take it for granted. We are lucky enough to take those rights for granted 364 days of the year, but on this one day, we honor those who took 365 days, who took countless hours and immense sacrifice to protect, both for our country and for others, the ideals of this nation.
Thank you for inviting me here today to speak on Veterans Day and what Veterans Day means to me. We're all well aware that our military is an essential training ground for leadership and teamwork. It gives a joint appreciation of the power and strength and how we are all better as part of a team and a greater good. Always remember the sacrifices of our veterans. As Americans, they deserve our full support and our thanks.
I hope you enjoyed watching those highlights. Seeing this makes me miss having our in-person events. At this time, Commander Michael Beaver of the American Legion Post 277 here in Placentia will speak to us about what the Legion does.
Good afternoon, I'm Michael Beaver. I'm commander of American Legion Post 277 right here in Placentia, California. And I wanted to give you some history of our post here in Placentia. We belong to a national organization. The National Organization of American Legions is 100 years old. Our post here in Placentia has been here since 1934, and we've been in this location since 1955. We have in our organization, we have membership here. I'm considered a Legionnaire. We have 210 members that are Legionnaires. One of our strong dynamic groups we also have is the Auxiliary, and they have 130 members. And then we also have sons, which are sons of members that are veterans. We have 70. So altogether we have about 400 people that are part of what I consider to be the American Legion family here in Placentia. Our mission and our goal is to serve veterans. And by that I mean we need to stay in touch with veterans and make certain that they're receiving the services they need to receive. If they need to have VA healthcare benefits, we can assist them with talking with people that can provide that. If they need to have information about disability services, we connect them with veteran service officers to research that. If they need to find their medals, we have a way that they can get in touch with a national office in St. Louis to recover the medals. If they need to have a service after a veteran passes away and they need to know, what do I do, how do I do it, how do I access property, we provide information to all of our veterans. Some of the programs we do, and people wonder, how do we work in a community? One of the strongest programs we have is called Boys State. We send 2 students from Valencia High School, 2 students from El Dorado High School. These are boys, high school juniors, finishing up the school year. We send them to Sacramento for 1 week. They form a city government, a county government, and a state government. And the feedback we get from them is it's a dynamic program. They pay nothing for it. They're bussed up there, they're bussed back, and they have a whole week of intense organizing all levels of government. And I've spoken to a few of them that years later, they said it changed their life. It changed the curriculum they studied in school. Also, the auxiliary does this Girl State program, same program. They take off for a week. It's a paid for program. We're very proud of the fact that our student last year from El Dorado not only went to Girl State in California, she was the national representative to the national program. And that's quite an honor. Some of the other programs we do, we have a family within our organization that at Christmas time, they go to the VA hospital in Long Beach and they take socks, t-shirts, cookies to veterans that are in the hospital that are probably not going to be released at that time at Christmas time to make sure they're happy. It's that type of things that really makes American Legion strong. We're here to serve veterans. And sometimes when a person comes out as a veteran, they don't always share all their information. But someday they may have one key question about an answer they need to a difficult, challenging question. That's part of our service. We need to find an answer for them. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Commander Beaver, for the information on Post 277 here in Placentia. The city is lucky to have the American Legion benefiting our local service members. Well, that about wraps up our 2020 Veterans Day Observance Ceremony. I hope you all enjoyed the presentation. I want to give special thanks to our city staff who helped coordinate this event, my colleagues on the City Council, the Veterans Advisory Committee, the American Legion Post 277, and especially our Placentia veterans. Thank you all for attending today's virtual tribute to the men and women who have served or are serving in the United States Armed Forces.